JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 26th of May 2021. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Wednesday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then guys, I hope you had a you're having a wonderful start of the morning here, of the day. I can see in the chat room here. Good morning to you too, Evo. Guys, the first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and we are climbing higher. So, yes, we are pushing a little bit further north. However, we are still struggling to make our way above this upside support line taken from the low of the 19th of March of 2020. So in a way, if it continues to struggle to push above this upside line, then well, maybe this whole move could be seen as a temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. So basically, we could see this one kind of maybe actually being a possible flag or something like that, but not a very clear one, of course, don't get me wrong, because we don't really have a nice pole here. But basically the prevailing trend was to the downside. Now we started pushing higher. Maybe it could also be seen as a bit of a rising channel here. These few candles right here. That's why let's not rush into anything, and that's why I have my main scenario kind of for now from the upside support line. Now previously, like on Monday for example, I talked about this hurdle here, the 28,760, but to be honest, the further we move to the right here, that's why this level kind of probably is becoming a little bit less significant. So if we would have a push straight away here to the upside, then yes, we could this level could play out nicely here for us. But at the moment, given that the index continues to slowly kind of grind higher and moves more to the right, so basically we're going to ignore this level. So now what I'm going to be focusing on mainly will be the this upside support line, and of course also this little short-term tentative downside resistance line taken from the high of the 6th of April. So for now, basically, if we get a nice good push above this upside line and then we clear this downside line, then of course yes, higher levels could be met. But at the moment, let's be very careful, cautious, and because again, like I said, if this continues to provide resistance, this whole area here continues to provide resistance, then maybe, just maybe, this arrow here could actually show the correct faith of this index in the near term. The Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index here, I've talked about this one as well, and I said that keep your eyes on this downside line taken from the high of the taken from the high of the 18th of February. And yep, we managed to break it, and most importantly, we managed to stay above it. So now, as you can see, we are near the this 29,152 territory right here, and yep, we are struggling again with this barrier, as we did here, for example. Yes, we did have an overshoot here. I mean, we had a nice opening above this barrier, but as you can see, it didn't really lead anywhere. Instead, we kind of saw this being as an island reversal, and then we drifted back down. So nevertheless, I mean, this barrier still kind of provided good resistance. And it's doing the same thing right now as well. So basically, of course, let's say the more comfortable level for me to go for some higher levels, if we get a push above the 29,405 territory right here, which is this the high of the 29th of April, or in other words, the highest point of April. But we could already start aiming higher if we climb above this 29,152 territory, especially if we also stay above this area as well. So, and yep, then more buyers could join in here. So keep that in mind, guys. For now, long story short, for now, all eyes are going to be on this hurdle right here. And yeah, if we climb above it, then, well, we'll continue aiming higher. Now, jumping into the German index, DAX, and basically this is the exact thing that I was talking about yesterday when I was covering DAX, and I said that, guys, yes, we hit a new all-time high. We've hit the new all-time high here, excuse me. But basically, once again, we had a similar scenario, and we have closed the daily candle in the red and below the previous all-time high. So basically, we've dropped back below this 15,000 and 15,538 zone. So in a way, for now, I would say that let's keep an eye on this little hurdle right here, the 15,215, because if suddenly we see a drop below this area, then yep, we could consider maybe a bit of a larger correction here to the downside. I mean, but let's not forget that even if it retraces a little bit lower, as long as it stays above the 21-day EMA, then there's still a chance for the bulls to step in and drive this one higher. But if you're a little bit more on the careful side, on the cautious side, then keep your eyes on the current all-time high, which is around here near the 15,568, 69 zone, approximately around here. If we get a nice clear break above it, then yes, of course, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and more buyers could join in. But at the moment, guys, what I'm considering here maybe is just a first small little retracement here down to the 21-day EMA, and then from here, we'll take it further. If, like I said, if this 21-day EMA continues to provide support, then we could see a nice rebound and a push higher. But if it breaks and we see the price falling below the 15,215 territory, then yes, I'll start aiming for the downside. Now, jumping into DXY, the dollar index, and here you can see that yes, we drifted lower yesterday, but we didn't really, well, we did get that close below it, but it was just fractionally here below this area, below this 89.68 zone. So basically, I would say that yes, there is still a good chance for this one to drift further south. But again, somehow this is not really moving lower that strongly. So, but still, don't get me wrong. I mean, the trend is still to the downside. So, well, according to all the T rules, we still have to aim lower. I would say keep your eyes on this 89.68 zone. If we see the price continuing to trade below it, then yes, of course, my next target is this 89.23 zone right here, and then we could take it from there, of course. But for the upside, what I need to see here is well, first of all, a a break of this downside line and then maybe a push above the 90.2829 zone right here. So I'm lowering my kind of breakout barrier here because yeah, well, the further we move to the downside, the kind of the lower the breakout could be here. So yep, long story short, basically for now, yes, I'm kind of a little bit more bearish than bullish, as long as the the price continues to trade here below this 89.68 zone. Now, looking at gold, and gold finally managed to reach my target here, the 1906-0607 zone. So, good result here, and this is what I talked about previously when I was covering this one, when I said that initially what I was saying that if we pop above the 1875 territory, then my next target is the 1890 or the 1907 territory right here. So we managed to reach that. Perfect. Now the big question here is what can happen, what will happen further. Now, the only way we can kind of stay careful here is at this point, because given that we have already a decent up move, we'll keep an eye on this 1907 territory. If we get a clear break above it, then yes, higher levels could be met. But if the price continues to trade below this hurdle, below this 1907 zone, then well, brace yourselves. We could see maybe a bit of a corrective move lower, and for that, I would like to see maybe at least a drop back below the 1890 zone. Of course, I'll be very careful here still, because ideally I would prefer to see maybe a drop below the 1875 territory right here in order to get a little bit more comfortable with further declines. And where we could then aim for this upside support line taken from the low, the 31st of March. So keep that in mind, guys. Quick update on WTI Oil. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one because the same game plan remains kind of on this one, and the 66.40 zone continues to provide that resistance. However, again, at this point, I mean, looking at the yesterday's candle, we can see that yes, it formed kind of something like a doji here, but which could be seen as a reversal signal. However, we've seen these dojis kind of forming in the past, and then kind of they sometimes kind of were acting more of a continuation sign. But either way, guys, either way, if you want to go for the upside here, well, a push above the 66.40 territory would be needed. And also, not only that, a nice good daily candle staying above that area as well. So at the moment, guys, let's be very careful for the downside. Even if it is a doji here in a nice reversal signal, still I would prefer to wait for a drop back below the 63.80 territory, somewhere around here, in order to go for lower areas. Now jumping into Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is pushing back up, or at least trying to. However, the idea that I've mentioned here on Monday, it remains valid. So yes, we are seeing this nice little correction here to the upside, but now the big question here is, can we see a hold up near this 200-day EMA? Well, that's going to be an interesting one, because at the moment, like I said, I am, yes, aiming for the upside a little bit here. I'm going to aim for this 200-day EMA again, and then I'll take it from there, because I want to see what's going to happen here if this 200-day EMA this time is going to act as a nice area of resistance. For the upside, what I would like to see here, or to be, let's say, in order to be a little more careful, cautious, well, you could start looking at this little hurdle right here, this 42,100 zone, but still probably the more careful option here could be this 46,000 mark. So if we climb back above it, then yep, we could see maybe a larger correction here, back to the 50s here, and maybe towards even this downside line. But at the moment, guys, let's be very careful. Yes, it is tempting, But don't forget that still sometimes the cryptos do follow the technicals. So yeah, let's see if the 200-day EMA provides good resistance. Litecoin. So Litecoin here is pushing above the 200-day EMA, so everything seems to be a little bit more positive on this one. We are climbing back above the 192.35 territory right here. Of course, I'll be very careful here because, yes, yesterday we pushed above this barrier, but we failed to stay above it. Today we're also pushing above this barrier, but we're currently, yes, above it, but let's see if we remain above it. Because if we still end up closing below this 192.35 zone, well, basically, then yes, I mean, the upside could be off the table for a while. So that's why, guys, for now, be very careful. Yes, we are pushing higher. Great news, yes, but let's see if this daily candle is able to stay above this 192.35 zone. And if it does, then we could maybe consider a larger correction here to the upside, because let's not forget that all this could still be seen as a temporary correction because we're trading below this downside line taken from the high of the 10th of May. Now jumping into AUD NZD, guys. So overnight, of course, as you are aware, probably we did get the RBNZ interest rate decision. So there was no surprises there. The interest rate stayed the same. At plus 0.25. However, the rhetoric, what was said from what was said by the policymakers, the RBNZ policymakers, that they're hoping for an interest rate hike by September 2022, which is basically next year, but the market sees that as a nice positive here, and the NZD bulls here jumped in again, and we saw this drop here on AUD NZD, and we continue to see that slide. So basically, if you remember when I was kept covering this one, I was saying that in order to go for some upside, we need that daily candle to remain above this hurdle, above this 1.0793. Well, we didn't really get that. We just kept getting these teases, these overshoots here, but false breakouts, but we didn't really get that daily candle staying above this. Now, when we drifted yesterday, yesterday I said to you that keep your eyes on this 1.0711, because if that gets cleared, well, I mean, it could open the door towards lower areas, and well, look what happened. First of all, it drifted towards my target already, this 1.0673, and now the big question here is now, I previously mentioned this 1.0630 zone, and I'll keep that on the chart, but actually I'll draw another support line, right, which is this one, the low, the 26th of February, and that's roughly around the 1.0640. So basically by roughly by 10 pips higher here than that level, and this is going to be my next target, just because I don't want, I mean, although this looks good, don't get me wrong, but let's keep it short and simple. Let's be very careful on this one, because it might drift lower, it might come very close to this, and for example, if you would be targeting this one, it just might stall here and then reverse back to the upside. So that's why for now, guys, I'm just gonna aim for that 1.0640. And then I'll see if that area can provide support. If it can, then we might see a nice rebound, but if it cannot, then further declines of course are possible, but I'll pick up on this one later. NZDUSD, so yep, pushing higher. It made its way above the previous previous highest point of May here, which was around the 0.7305, and we climbed above it today. So let's see if we can stay above it, because as you can see, so right now the bears are pushing the pair back down, back below this hurdle, and if we manage to stay above this area, then yes, of course, my next target is the 0.7383 zone right here, or even the 0.7464. But if the pair stays below this, if this daily candle stays below this hurdle right here, then well, maybe we could see a bit of a retracement here back to the subside line, and then of course we'll pick up on this one again and see if we actually can rebound from the subside line. But again, for now, all eyes are on this little barrier here, the previous highest point of May near the 0.7305. A quick update on the USD CAD. So here the situation is a little bit difficult, I would say, because if you remember, last time I talked about this hurdle right here, the 1.2062 zone, which is the lowest point of September of 2017. This is the level that I talked about. And what's interesting here that although this level didn't really play as a nice area of support, well, a little bit here, but to be honest, it wasn't very clear here, but instead it's acting as a very nice area of resistance. Now you can see that although we're trading kind of slightly, just fractionally below it, still in kind of in the past 3 days here, sorry, in the past 2 days here, this barrier kind of continues to hold the daily candle from kind of staying above this area, above this hurdle. So in a way, of course, all this doesn't really paint a very positive picture here. And if we look at it from the little bit more of a short-term perspective, you'll see that we do have this downside line taken from the high, the 13th of May, which in a way could be maybe seen as the upper side of the descending triangle here. But to be honest, it's not a very clear triangle. I mean, descending triangle here. Instead, it's more of a sorry, not the wrong line here. It's more like like this here. So basically, we can see that maybe, just maybe, the pair is coiling up right now. So so yeah, let's see how this is going to play out, where this is going to break out to. If, of course, don't get me wrong, I mean, since kind of March 2020, this pair has been drifting heavily to the downside, as you can see here. So maybe, of course, there's a lot of bulls here that are waiting for an opportunity to step in, and every single time when we have this decent drop here, there is hope that maybe, just maybe, we could see a nice reversal here back to the upside. But to be honest, I mean, guys, wait for certain confirmations because again, it's very tricky. It could continue drifting lower, and especially if oil picks up the pace again and continues to rise, and yep, we could see USD CAD drifting further south. So keep that in mind. From the very short-term perspective, I could say that if you want to aim for some higher levels here, then probably just wait for a break of this downside line, and then maybe for a push above this little hurdle right here, above the 1.2144 zone, and then yes, maybe we could climb also above the 21-day EMA, and maybe then more buyers could join in and drag this one at least towards this long-term downside resistance line. GBP/JPY, very quickly on this one. So I haven't well, I don't really look at this one very often, but yesterday I spoke about this one, and I said that it was still trading above the upside line, and it had a good chance to move higher, but for that we needed to see at least a push above the 154.84 zone. So this is what I mentioned yesterday. We're not really getting that, so, and instead you can see we've kind of got a break of this upside line. So that's why I keep saying that wait for those confirmation breaks. But even so, for the downside, we cannot really get very comfortable with the downside yet, because what I need here is a drop somewhere below the 153.42 zone right here. And also drop below the 21-day EMA, and then more sellers could join in. So yep, keep that in mind. Euro against the Turkish lira. So this is where the interesting bit happens. So yesterday we've created a new all-time high here on this pair, but the daily candle didn't really drop lower. So that means that there is a good, very decent chance here that we could see a further continuation north, especially if the rate continues to trade above this upside line taken from the low the 16th of April and above the previous all-time high here near the 10.3035 zone. If we continue to trade above it, then yes, like I said, higher levels could be met. So yep, for now, guys, I mean, everything's looking quite positive here, to be honest, unless we start breaking the unless we start breaking the upside line here and dropping below the 21-day EMA. So then yes, we could start looking at some lower levels. But at the moment, like I said, everything seems to be still on the positive side here for euro against the Turkish lira. And finally, euro against the USD. So yep, we managed to stay yesterday above this 1.2243 territory, and to be honest, I'll continue aiming higher as long as the rate stays above the 1.2243. If it starts dropping back down, this is where I'll take a bit of a neutral stand and observe the price action. But if it continues to trade above the 1.2243, then yes, we'll aim for further upside here, and I'll aim for that 1.2350 zone, which is the current highest point of this year. So that's it, guys, for this session. I hope you found it useful. Really appreciate your views, your likes, guys, your comments, really do. So I hope you, like I said, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for joining in and watching this one till the end. If you want to catch my video later on, my trader's tea time, as always, that's 12:30 GMT time. For now, have a wonderful trading day, guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.